Welcome to O-Talkin' with Dave. Put your hands together for the pastor of positivity whose glass is always at least half full. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you're doing great. I am top shelf. I'm in Vegas and it is hot. I love it. I like it. I like the heat. It keeps me loose in my older age. Yeah, I wake up, I'm already stretched. I don't have to stretch. And you know how I don't like stretching. I've got barraged with a few emails recently talking about people that are having some trouble. And I can't stand for anybody to be it's like Seinfeld. I can sense the slightest bit of human suffering. My wife knows to go, are you sensing anything now? I kid because people are having a hard time, both forgiving other people, forgiving themselves, and just the whole letting things go. So I want to talk about that a little bit today. People are more offended than ever. I think that is an industry all its own. People are making money off of it. And if they can make you offended, then they can rally you around something or sell you something or build consensus, which leads to drama, but it ultimately leads to pain. And it bothers me. You know, people are tied up in knots, and partially because they're doing it to themselves. But I think we're more offended than ever, but also we're less forgiving than at any other time in my short life, for sure. We used to say, let bygones be bygones. No, now we screenshot them, we plaster them somewhere, we share them. Everything is instantaneous. Shame is captured at every moment. I think this matters. Usually when several people bring something up, it speaks for a lot of people. I get a lot of comments on some that it may not touch me necessarily, but as I research and do some work on these, I'm thinking, oh, wow, it does. It hits me more than I thought. And what I'd like for you to do is think about not just you, but how this affects people in your circle, literally, figuratively, all of that. But I think it matters because everything seems to be so hypersensitive. Everything is just on edge and moves so quickly, and it's hard to keep up because we're all hyper connected in some way. I'm not a social media guru by any means. I have 2 or 3 things I usually post in the morning and let that ride for the day. However, there's probably 3 or 4, and a lot of people, they're on them all day. So they're hypersensitive, they're hyper connected, and also you've got those out there that are hyper judgmental. I should have named this hyper something, as much as I'm saying the word. But I think it matters for those reasons. Also, cancel culture, which I've talked about recently, and I don't like it. I love to cancel the cancelers. It's fantastic. But it didn't just change public figures, the big boys. It's trickled into our homes, in our workplaces, in our friend groups. It's funny, the garage was a safe place, and I'll talk about the garage like you guys know what it is, but if you listen enough, you know what the garage is. It was a safe place. We said things. We didn't hold grudges. People who weren't comfortable there didn't come back, and a lot of them opened their minds a little bit to certain people, speak certain ways. They say things that they don't know the global impact, which is 0, by the way. But also, they didn't mean it. So we took away that hypersensitivity. We stayed connected, but it was a group. And also, we weren't hyper-judgmental. That's why I think this talk matters. That's not the world we live in. That was the incubation of the garage. So, cancel culture. We're scared to say stuff. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Friends can cancel you now. And canceling means you don't get invited to something. To me, that's a good thing. However, it breaks people down. That's people who aren't as secure in their path. It's rough on them, man. And also, being offended or outraged. Being offended, that's currency. You offended me. I've got something on you. Ha ha. Gotcha. Outrage is a sport Meaning, hey, let's see what we can do. Let's see the boundaries we can push. Let's see if I can get them mad enough to say something that offends me. How about that? Ha! And then forgiveness, that seems old-fashioned. That just seems old-fashioned. Who forgives? Come on. Forgiveness, that's Bible talk. Bible talk. Stop it. Ha! Please. Anyway, let's talk about it. So let's talk about now versus just 30 years ago. 30 years ago, I was 30. I was in the throes of I had a mortgage, a wife, and 2 kids. However, I was yuppie. I was hip. I had hair. Other places than on my back and in my ears. Yeah, fantastic. So let's compare the two. In 1995, private apologies, we did those in person. We did them in person. Some people had cell phones at that time. We were starting to get them a little more. Probably had a bag phone. Remember the bag phones? Yeah. Private apologies handled in person. Now public apologies are demanded online in front of God and everybody. Yeah. 95 forgiveness was based on intent. You talked. You knew each other. You could talk about it. The intent was there, and it was in full view. Now, full forgiveness is based on perceived impact. Perceived impact. And perception, we all can struggle with perception from time to time. But impact is also, it's not just what it did to me, what it did to my persona. What will others think about how I respond? It's very complicated. And I'm not making fun. Imagine being a teenager dealing with all this crap. That's why my heart goes out to them. Also in 1995, our memories faded a little quicker. Not now. Internet never forgets. It is forever. Ask these people being canceled about something they sent 30 years ago, please. 1995, disagreements stayed pretty much localized. Yeah. Now a screenshot goes global. I know what Cindy Lou and Mary Ann are fussing about in Chattanooga because it's for public display. And also in 95, I believe to some degree, people just moved on. Life's too short, right? Now, people will unfollow you or cancel you. That's the first thing people look at. Oh, did they block me? Did they cancel me? Do they unfollow me and cancel, as in, however your definition? Yeah, because people like it. People like to keep it alive. Some people don't want forgiveness. No, I need this grudge, and we'll talk about that. However, I know it's real, and it needs to be talked about. 71% of Gen Zers say they've cut someone off for a mistake they deemed inexcusable. 71%. Now, sidebar here, I don't understand estrangement from family. We'll get to all of that here and in future stuff, and we've talked about it in the past. Come on. To cut somebody off, that takes more energy than just letting it go. Now, I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth with deselecting or not spending time with them or choosing to not hang out with negative people. All these deselection things I've talked about. No, I'm talking about cutting somebody off because they did something. They hurt my feelings. And some of the things people get their feelings hurt about is absolutely crazy. I do my top 10 lists. I did one on inexcusable, unforgivable. It hits so deep with some people. I haven't published it yet. I looked at it and I'm thinking, I know who that is. Clearly, but they do too. So I'm not worried about offending people. I don't want them to think it's all about them because truly it's not. 71%. 62% of people admit they've ghosted someone instead of addressing the conflict. I would have thought that would have been higher. I think 62% is low. I think 20% of the people are lying. They do that. People will do that. You know how surveys are. But 62%, rather than face it. Come on, let's get through it. Conflict resolution. Can't get through it till you get in it, right? 34% say they have fully forgiven someone in the past 12 months for a major offense. Okay, think about it. That's 34% in the last 12 months. It was 58% in 2000. So my question, I would have a follow-up question. What do you consider major offense? I don't know. Maybe that's gone up because maybe the offenses are getting lighter or heavier. I don't know. However, it's down from 58%. Just a few stats to let you know I'm not making sandcastles here. So let's talk about it in some surveys. What is considered the least forgivable or most unforgivable, however you like to look at it, offenses in 2025? 10 just, stop the presses. This is going to be a problem. Number 1, and these are in no particular order. These are not prioritized, no particular order. Number 1 is publicly disagreeing with a protected opinion. You said, the context would be, you said something wrong online. You contradicted a sacred cow. Why is that so hard to forgive? Because you didn't follow the group think. Wait a minute, we're all saying this, and you said something contradictory to that. You're not part of the group anymore. You're dangerous. You can't be trusted. That's considered one of the least forgivable. I thought it was an opinion. I'm glad I'm not in this group. My goodness, just listen to this podcast. I am not popular opinion here. I study human nature and I try to help. But publicly disagreeing with a protected opinion. I'll try to quit doing this. I'm trying to. Yeah. Okay. There you go. That's a big one. Number 2, breaking confidentiality. All right. I get you. Said something in confidence, told somebody a secret, and they broke your trust. Broke your trust. That's permanent suspicion. And depending on what it is, I can see that. Now, all of these are at home or work or play, all of these. So I didn't just come up with these. These are statistics and what is considered the top 10. Breaking confidence is a big one. If I don't trust many people, I have a very small circle, and that circle got small because people either breached confidence, or I couldn't trust them, or they would tell me things that other people told them in confidence. Here's a red flag, Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yeah, so I'm permanently suspicious of those people. I still hang out with them to some degree. I just don't trust them. Sorry. There you go. So that one is tough to forgive. And we're going to get to how to forgive later on. Number 3, withdrawing without an explanation. We call it ghosting, but withdrawing without an explanation, especially like a friendship. I've heard people in the dating pool, they never call back. A couple of dates, I thought it was great. Now it's hard to get them, and they've really cut back on the communication to where it's nothing, or maybe it's at work. They don't socialize anymore. They're doing their own thing or whatever. You don't even know what the deal is maybe, but still, that's considered one of the 10. And it's seen as disrespectful. Sometimes they don't want to face a problem, so it's cowardice in some way. And then the favorite word of the hypersensitive is, they're a narcissist. That's it. We can just cover it all with the N word. Yeah. Okay. Listen to my narcissism one. Some of you loved it. Some of you hated it. But hey, giddy up. What kind of narcissist are you? Okay. Anyway, number 4, disrespecting mental health boundaries. This one would not be on the list in 1995. I can promise you that. And guilty here, I'm just saying toughen up or minimizing somebody's anxiety, trauma. Yeah. Okay, I'm a top 10 breaker here. But the thing is, you can't have blanket statements like that, in my opinion. Someone's anxiety or trauma, I see people break down over strings and celery. Okay, that's not a mental disorder. First of all, you shouldn't be eating celery. That is the devil's weed. I'm telling you. The strings and the crunching. I love the crunch. But some people are anxious and traumatized by that. Okay, they need to toughen up. Okay, so I just disrespected in some people's minds. Okay, unforgivable. If you're that delicate, okay, maybe, I don't know, you can forgive me. I'll forgive you. But people remember a lot, and I don't mean to invalidate anybody's real mental challenges or trauma, or surely not a diagnosis. But some of the made up phobias and traumas now, they're not in a medical journal. They're made up. And so I think we need to respect it. But when we come up with flimsy mental health situations, weakness disguised as that, you're going to get disrespected. I can promise you that. So we need to find a way to get through it. Okay, I'll move to number 5 because I heard a few clicks there. Workplace betrayal. Oh, big one. Big one. Throwing somebody under the bus. How often have you seen that? If you've done it, shame on you. If it's been done to you, you know how it feels. If you've seen somebody else do it and you could have cleared the record, you should have. If you didn't, okay, don't trust that person. All the above. But also taking credit for somebody else's work. Man, I give people credit because I'm nothing without my team. Oh, I'm nothing without my team. I don't care what team I'm in. I am usually the weakest member. I'm the weakest link. And so it's easy for me to give credit. But taking credit for somebody else's work or throwing somebody over the bus, the blame game, can't stand it. That goes back to the trust factor. Because word spreads. People know. You don't get away with that. And even though you helped upper management because you were the tattletale, they know too. They don't trust you either. But that's another one of the top 10. Workplace betrayal. Da, 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 da. Number 6. Cultural or identity missteps. Now, I'm not, you'll hear when I don't agree with these, but these are what society says are the big 10. I want you to know, this isn't Dave, trust me. Because the next one, cultural or identity missteps. Using the wrong words, bad jokes, or tone-deaf comments. Guilty. But I think you have to look at, but listen to me. I think you have to look at intent. You know, this is even unintentional. If these missteps are unforgivable to today's society. I tell bad jokes. I use the wrong words. Some of my stuff is tone deaf. I don't know that it's tone deaf. It's more ambivalent. And I know that's not what that means, but I don't care. But that's a big one. That's a top 10, according to today's society. Parenting judgments. You know why I'm laughing. Weak parents raise weak parents. And here's what they call it, parenting judgments. Telling somebody how to raise their kids. It's unforgivable. Or worse, being caught not raising them well yourself. Ooh, you can't not do it well, but you can't tell somebody else that they're not doing it well. Crock-a-hooey. The thing is, I don't tell people how to raise their kids. Yeah, and I don't tell them when they're not doing it. I didn't know what to do myself. I emulated my parents to some degree, and look at me, they didn't do that great of a job. However, that's one of the big 10. And I think that one comes from a little insecurity, which is okay. But weak parents raise weak parents. Yeah, Google it. Number 8, financial betrayals. Borrowing money, not paying it back. That's a tough one. That could be a top 10er. I agree with that one. Mixing business and friendship. Oh, that's tough, man. It says doing it poorly, but that's tough. I know a lot of friends who used to be friends till they went in business together. That's rough. And then same thing with family members. Doing business with family. I never let anyone borrow money. I just gave it to them. No, this isn't a loan. There you go. Because once you let someone borrow money, you change the relationship. Friend, family, whatever. It changes the dynamic of that relationship. So, boom, I think that's a top tenner. That's a rough one. That's a rough one. And remember, these are the most unforgivable or the hardest to forgive. They're not unforgivable. A little foreshadowing. Failing to show up in a crisis is number 9. You weren't there when I needed you, man. I needed you. I desperately needed you, and you didn't show up. Your absence is louder than any apology you can give. That's justification for it. I haven't felt that one myself as much. I'm bad about asking for help, and I've moved away we move constantly. My family doesn't know half of what I've been through, so I didn't ask for their help. A lot of my friends, they don't know. So I haven't had that in my life, but I know people who have, and I've seen the pain when that happens. That could be a top tenner for me. I don't know. And then finally, this may be number 1. It's number 10 here, and these are in no particular order, but cheating or infidelity, romantic dishonesty. It's classic, man. It goes way back. Ever since couples holding hands and pitch and woo. This one shortly thereafter, this probably happened. But now it's documented. Screenshots, DMs, receipts. You can't get away with it. If someone is so inclined, you're going to get caught. Go to a Coldplay concert. First of all, that's why they should have been embarrassed. Not because of their dishonesty or that they were cheating on their spouse or any of that. They went to see Coldplay. Oh, the humanity. Trying to lighten it up. So these are 10 things that are unforgivable by today's standards. Why? Why these 10? So the survey goes back and it looks at it and it says, first of all, because of the perceived identity attack. People tie values to identity. When you offend a value, they take it personally. I don't understand that. It's just me, and I'm trying to understand it because I will be able to communicate better when I fully understand that. However, my values are my values, and I'm not going to push them on you. I'll explain to you why they are important to me. But if somebody doesn't share that value, I don't take it personally. Society does right now. Also, why is it so unforgivable? Permanent records. It's permanent. Remember back in 1995, our memories fade a little bit. We forgot about that. We forgot the exact words, and if it was written down, it was poor penmanship. Now it's boom. They can be replayed over and over, forever, screenshotted, sent, videos, group chats. It's everywhere. So it's bad. It stays bad, and it's amplified. Another reason why it's so unforgiving. Then you have that whole echo chamber effect. People are going to talk about it, and they want to pick sides and seek support. And I guarantee you, there are people who are doing unforgivable things while communicating the unforgivable things others have been doing. Oh man, you can't get off social media right now, and this timestamps this about the 2 that went to the Coldplay concert. Everybody's got an opinion on it. Everybody. I'm tired of hearing about it. And I'm bringing it up myself. See? Boom. Echo chambers. And then a lot of times, and this is the problem with a lot of communications, is it's a total lack of nuance. Everything's got to have a label on it. We got to put it in a box we understand. Hero or villain. Ally or enemy. There's no room for, oops, made a mistake. That's out of character. That doesn't happen all the time. This is what happened. Or I was misquoted. Or I didn't say that. I said something else. Too late. Minds have been made up. Lack of nuance. So I get it, man. I get it. And it's rough. And it's tough. And I'm not making light of it because if it hurts and we need to think about it. The things we have done and the things that have been done to us and the things that we've witnessed that have caused a forgiveness void, we'll call it. Let's talk a minute. What type of people are least likely to forgive. That's important. Let's think about it. The highly conscientious types, I say that way, I got other words for it. Rules are rules. Hey, they broke a rule. Don't care who you are, you broke a rule. Break them, you're untrustworthy. You do this, you're dead to me. Why would you break a rule? It's a rule. We have rules for reasons. This is not Nam. There are rules. You got those types, okay? And I can talk to those a lot. I'm not a rule breaker. I'm really not. I'll bend the heck out of it. I'll turn it into a pretzel. But I won't knowingly break it. And if I do, I'll have some sort of justification for it. It may be weak, but maybe. Okay, but you have those types. Also, you have the public image protectors. These people are more worried about how it looks than what happened. Oh. These poor people, they spend so much time trying to worry. They're worried about their image. I know people like this. It's how things look to them. A terrible thing happened, but it's all about how does this reflect on them. It didn't even happen to you, man. Would you calm down? Quit flattering yourself. But that's it. Public image protectors are less likely to forgive because of how it might affect them and how would forgiveness look. They're overthinking everything. Then you've got, and very seriously, and I don't mean to bring this up after I was just making something, but trauma. People who have actually been through trauma. They filter everything through that lens. If you've ever been cheated on, if you've ever had that person who did all those things, who've done some of these top 10 things to you, threw you under the bus at work, cheated on you, borrowed money, all of that stuff, it's going to be tougher. It piles up and it shapes a person. And I really feel bad for these. It's usually not just one trauma either. They've been dealt a bad deck. And maybe they didn't deal with it well. I have more empathy for those people. And then the extremely empathetic. Now, I love empathy. Empathy's great. Empathy is a character trait that everyone should have probably more of. But sometimes they expect you to know better. They hold you to higher standards. Surprisingly, they're empathetic. However, they're really expecting more from you. They're less likely to forgive certain things because their empathy is so strong. They expect yours to be. And if it's not, how could you be this way? How could you do this? And then you've got the people socially self-righteous. Yeah. So these people. Forgiveness is seen as a betrayal to their cause. It's seen as weakness. They won't forgive you, not because they wouldn't like to. It's because how would that look? That type of thing. It sends a message. Please. Nobody's paying that much attention to you. And I'm sorry about the commentary. I'm just talking about the types of people who are least likely to forgive. So how do we try to get somebody to forgive us? How about that? How do we get on the path to forgiveness? I'll give you a few things here. First thing, you got to own it. You can't play around with it. As soon as possible, too. If these things marinate over weeks, months, years. I know people who haven't talked to their sister in 4 years. Shame on you. But if we can get to things immediately, my wife and I, we let stuff go 2 or 3 days. And that's a no-no because it changes in 2 or 3 days. It's either much worse. What happens usually, it's much worse to her and not as bad to me. No matter which one does it. So let's do it. Let's talk to it. Let's own it immediately and publicly. If you did something, if you need to apologize in public, do it. Don't spin it. Don't explain it away. Don't diminish it. Own it. And not just, I'm sorry. Ask for the forgiveness. Own it. Absolutely. Then apologize. This is tough sometimes, especially if there are men and women involved because we hear and speak differently. But say it in the words they need to hear. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's words, sometimes it's actions, sometimes it's the timing and all of that. But there's a certain way that it will soak in for them. And I think just for guys, it might just be a fist bump. That's 3 paragraphs and a hug. For others, it's not that way. And see, sometimes you have to make it right. If you borrow money and pay the money back, or set something up to where you will. If you broke something, repair it. Ask for a redo, and then make sure you do it this time. Don't excuse it. I did it. It was bad. I want you to forgive me. I'm sorry. How can I make this right? All of that. And then show how your behavior has changed. If nothing changes, nothing's changing. Yeah, they're still not going to trust you. And if it's a trust issue, that you got to earn their trust back, which is tough. And then the thing is, no matter what happens, continue without bitterness. Accept whatever. Okay, no, I'm out of their life. No, unforgiven, whatever. Okay. You don't get to choose how or if they're going to heal. You're not. An apology without change on your side, that's not apology. That's just trying to manipulate them so they may not trust you at first. But take whatever outcome happens. Maybe there'll become a time when you can try again. However, you can't make someone forgive you. Can't do it. Nope. And a lot of times you can think about, okay, who have I not forgiven? All right, well, what would they have to do for me to forgive them? Whew, that's a good test. So if you're not forgiven, what do? You still do the work. Don't let their grudge or their prison control you. You've done what you think honestly needs to be done. And hey, do the work anyway. Pay them back anyway. Change anyway. But forgive yourself. Guilt is a tool. And other people will use guilt. If they see you're guilty or feeling guilty, they will use it. Absolutely. But shame is a trap. Yeah, guilt is a tool, but shame will trap you in. You've got to get rid of that. You've done the work. Forgive yourself. This is probably the most important thing. And then learn from it. From then on, go on, okay. Go and sin no more. All right, learn from it. Mistakes are only wasted if you repeat them. Otherwise, they're learning experiences. You got to mess up. Sometimes, how many times have I said this in my life? Sometimes you got to break the rules to learn the rules around here. Many times. Okay. Once you broke it, you learn it. Don't break it again, that particular rule. But you got to learn from it. And then, you know what? You got to build new trust in other places sometimes. But see, you can do that. And I've seen people go through this. They've not been forgiven. It's still rough, but they move on and they make other friends. They build trust elsewhere, and they don't make the mistakes that mess that friendship up or that partnership up or that marriage up. However, later they may still be forgiven because they changed. That's the key. That is the key. So let's talk about why we should forgive other people. Why should we? Again, I'm not Bible thumping at you here. It's freeing. It frees you of that angst, holding a grudge. Okay, you've heard it over and over. You're holding a grudge. It's like drinking poison, hoping the other person dies. Nuh-uh. It frees you. That weight is not on you anymore. You're going to sleep better. Resentment makes a terrible mattress and pillow. Trust me, I've been there. Also, they're not even thinking about it. So you're holding on to it. The person who has harmed you, that you're not forgiven, they're living the dream, man. And you're doing this to yourself. And one thing that is so true, bitterness makes you a bitter person. Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it eat people alive. And they don't see it because they don't blame themselves. They blame that person who did this to me. They did it to you. That's been a while. They've moved on. Forgive them for yourself. It makes you better. And then just to come full circle, there's things you need forgiveness for as well. Odds are more than once. And so forgiveness, we forgive for ourselves, not for them. That's a good thing, and it can heal relationships. However, many times the forgiveness is held on to over time. And I've got tons of stuff on resentment and grudges and regret, all of those things. And they're all tied into one casserole of angst, if you know my stuff. However, forgive for yourself. Okay? If you're having a tough time, just go through these 5 steps. First of all, acknowledge the hurt. Don't be a tough guy. Don't sugarcoat it. Own it. Own it. It hurt you. That's why you're holding on to it. Okay, all right, whatever. Say what it cost you. Think about that. Did it cost me time? Did it cost me trust, maybe? Did it cost me peace? What did it cost me? Name it. Money? Opportunity? What did it cost? It hurt. What did it cost? And then, okay, maybe it was a lot, maybe it wasn't. I don't know, maybe it's grown, maybe, I don't know. But choose to release it. Not because they deserve to be forgiven, because you do. You deserve to not have to deal with it anymore. Stop rehearsing it. Quit telling the same angry story over and over. You are picking the scab that's keeping that wound open. I know people, when they meet somebody new, within 5 minutes, they're telling somebody that they don't even know intimate details of how somebody has wronged them. Oh, I'm exhausted. I know they are. So quit rehearsing it. And then get through it. Whatever you got to do to talk it out. If you need to write it down. If you need to go out here 5 miles outside of Vegas and scream. Whatever you need to do. If you need a shrink. Whatever you need to do. I'm sorry. If you need a psychological professional. They don't like it when I call them shrinks. But get it out of your body, man. Get it out. Put it out. Put it out in the sun where darkness can't stand. Do it. Yeah, forgiveness doesn't mean they were right. It just means you're ready to be okay anyway. Now, there are people who don't want to forgive because they're letting go of something that is their security blanket. It's like Linus. Oh, no, I can't let that go. That's my edge. It gives me my edge. Your edge is cutting you into pieces. It's robbing you of your joy. It's robbing your friends of a very necessary part of their lives. And it's causing other people to experience less than they deserve. And you're going to end up being alone, angry, and holding on to that grudge. So hopefully we can let it go. If you're in a situation now to where you need to be forgiven, and you're just in bondage about it, and it's just absolutely killing you, go through those steps. Go through those steps. Own it. Make whatever restitution's necessary. Change your behavior. And then accept the outcome. Whatever. A lot of times it needs to marinate. Maybe they've been holding on to something. But do the work. Forgive yourself is the main thing. Learn from it and earn some trust in some new places. It's horrible and it's serious. I've cut up a little bit and I hope I didn't go too far. However, it is a necessary thing to give forgiveness and to receive. If they won't forgive you, forgive yourself. Take that load off. Heavy stuff, serious stuff. However, you will feel much better. It's a weight off your shoulders. I hope it helps. Give me your feedback. David@otalks.com or davidotalks.com. Yeah, you know the website. You know how to get a hold of me, and I appreciate you for doing it. And then I keep those coming because there's a lot of things out there people are dealing with that are, if it's a big deal to you, it's a big deal. I don't care what anybody says. And it's not getting any easier. Look how crazy it's gotten in the last 30 years. So I don't want to be doing this when I'm 90. Comparing, what would that be? 2055? Oh, I need to go take a pill. All right. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging on. And thanks for talking with Dave. Giddy up.